Welcome to Vlogs from the Dungeon Part 2. In Part 1, I talked about a Facebook post that I made today where I said, I forget how much prep work and planning and organization goes into even the easiest wedding receptions, and how I probably should be charging more for my weddings. Now, a lot of people in the comment section agree with me. Some people didn't. They thought, well, a party's a party, what's the difference? My argument is you should absolutely charge more for weddings. I live in America. If you live somewhere else in the world, maybe they're just as easy as a 40th birthday party or whatever. Which brings me to the video clip we're going to take a look at. Something from ABC's 2020. Reporter Elizabeth Vargas did an expose. It was called Wedding Industry Secrets or something like that. Something the wedding industry doesn't want you to know. And there were a lot of things in there that I thought were kind of shady that I watched. Of course, I'm only getting her side of the story on this. They also did a section on DJs. And I thought it was incomplete, but I regress. Here, watch the clip and we'll talk about it after you see the clip.
But it's harder to protect against what authors Denise and Alan Fields call the wedding markup. The exact same services are 20 to 30% more expensive if it's a wedding?
Yeah, if you slap the word wedding on it, suddenly the price goes up.
Right. We decided to conduct our own experiment.
Hi there, I'm calling to get some more information.
Our producer, Brooke, who is planning a wedding in real life, called 13 DJs.
July 13th.
Then Francesca, who also works for us, called the same DJs for the same dates and services, but for a party instead of a wedding.
It's a 40th birthday party?
10 out of 13 times the price was higher for the wedding, as much as $700 higher, on average 46% higher.
This is Elizabeth Vargas. I'm calling from ABC News.
The DJs we spoke to readily admitted to the wedding markup.
A lot more planning goes into a wedding. I'm not giving them a DJ for their wedding. I'm giving them a wedding director.
Yeah, but our bride didn't call you asking for a wedding director. She just called you asking for a DJ.
A wedding director is what's needed, in my opinion.
So basically, when you hear the word wedding, the price goes up.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that? Here's what I thought. I felt like the reporting was incomplete, and I'll explain. I think it would have been better if they would have gone ahead and hired a sampling of DJs. Let's hire the guy who was $700 more for a wedding than he was for a 40th birthday party. And let's see if his level of service was better than the guy who charged the same for a 40th as he did for a wedding. I bet you the service was better for the guy who charged $700 more. That's just my guess. So here's the thing. What they don't realize is that, no, we don't want to be wedding planners. She kind of cut him off when he started talking about that. I'm not trying to hire a wedding planner. I'm trying to hire a DJ. That's what you think until you get into it. See, the DJ knows more about what's going on for your reception than your wedding planner does. The dance part, that timeline part, what works and what doesn't. The wedding planner is there for the actual ceremony and, sometimes decorations and things like that in the room. They really don't do very well with even entertainment floor planning. They could put the DJ in a poor spot in the room. I've worked with wedding planners who have done it. Most do. I have to step in and say, no, you know what, this isn't going to be effective. We need to address the audience from a more practical spot in the room, and it works out better. It just works better overall for the party. We understand timelines. We understand how this pacing works with entertainment. And the brides need this perfect. They've been fantasizing about their wedding since, forever. Since before they knew their husbands, since before they had their first Barbie doll or heard their first fairy tale, they have been planning this in their head, and they want a fairy tale cool event. It's not us. We're not trying to say, hey, you should have a fairy tale wedding. That's what they want. Very seldom does someone call me up and say, just come and play music. It happens. Once or twice a year, it happens, but not very often. This week, as a matter of fact, just as an example, I've talked to my bride for Saturday 3 times. She has changed her song for the grand entrance 3 times. One time I had to do authorizations to the tune because I had to clean it up. On top of that, I got a call from her family and they want to add something to the mix. Something that's kind of personal for her. Now, knowing her and getting to know her and what she likes and what she doesn't like, I understand this is going to be a really nice surprise for her. Now, if I hadn't taken the time to get to know her, if I would have just said, yeah, I'll show up and play tunes, I would have known this was going to work or not. It sounded kind of silly just if you didn't have enough information on this. There's a lot more to planning a wedding than there is a 40th birthday party. Plain and simple. And for that simple fact, you should absolutely charge more money if you're doing your job. If you're not doing your job, if you're not going in and doing what a person should do as a DJ for a wedding client, then, forget it. If you just go and play tunes, that's what you do, don't charge anymore. But if you're going in and you're providing a real solid wedding DJ service to the client, both in the planning process and at the reception, charge it. That's my vlog from the dungeon for tonight, part 2. Practice and enjoy.